Meet our battle medic with the call sign Kikimora, but to her friends she's simply Kiki. This charming girl has an impressive list of achievements. Being, I won't say how old, feel free to guess in the comments, she has enough combat experience to put Rambo to shame. She has participated in operations across various corners of the globe, including the hellish battles for Ukraine. Today she'll be sharing her knowledge about an individual first aid kit, and she will show us how to use what's inside. Welcome, for the first time on YouTube, Kikimora.
Ukrainians, brothers and sisters, I came. Now, let's talk about my favorite item and the best yet. This is an emergency blanket. Do you know why it's called emergency blanket?
I believe it's used in emergencies, but yeah, you can tell a bit more about it.
Yeah, you're getting warmer.
Yeah,
Good,
okay.
good. Oh my. It helps regulate the body temperature to a specific rate.
To the normal rate.
Yeah,
wherever
to a
it is,
safe,
yeah? Okay.
a safe body temperature, right. So, there's many ways that this can be used. So, you're going to reach into the Casualty's IFAK and pull out the emergency blanket, okay? First way to use it is the H in the March protocols for, what does it stand for?
Hypothermia.
All right, slow clap everybody, slow clap, oh yeah.
Hypo means small, right? Like low, and thermia means temperature. Тобто гіпотермія – це коли низька температура.
Wow, this is a big one. It's so...
It's fit for two.
Oh, yeah. So this is the wrong way, but what you can do, fold and tuck it from the chin down, and you tuck, tuck, tuck.
But it's just regular foil, right? It's not like there's no special...
Yeah, it's trapping the body temperature. So it's not escaping, because as you're losing blood, your body temperature drops because of low blood pressure.
Kiki just uncovered me so that you guys hear me, because my microphone is attached to my body.
So you want to make sure that all the limbs are properly tucked in and wrapped up underneath. This is protect from the body temperature heat escaping, all right? Another way, if the temperature is pretty good outside and the ground is actually too cold and you need to continue to do your March protocols in a yellow or green zone, another way that you can do it is this. The second way to use the emergency blanket is as a protector from the ground. If it's raining and muddy and you need to do work on your casualty. So, one thing you will do now your casualty is protected and you continue to do your March protocols or even higher level of training, such as your decompression needle application and your chest seals.
We're not gonna show how the decompression needle works, right? No. No, it will hurt. It goes directly into the lung, right? Yeah? Does it?
Yep.
It goes into the lung, yeah?
Yes.
So, not now. And I know there's another quite unusual, unexpected use of this thing. Tell us about it.
Right, so in the front lines, when they're using drones at night, they use thermal imaging to look for us. So if you didn't know, I'm telling you now. This emergency blanket can be used in a squatting position. You can hide up under it and it regulates your body temperature and they can't track you. So if you're in a manhole or a small trench and you're ducking down and you're up under a folded version of this and it's new and it's not damaged, it will protect your heat signature, guys.
But it makes sense only at night, right? Because during the day, it's like it's reflecting the sun and you're
Right.
like it's making it worse, like you're too visible under it, right?
Right. But I
Okay.
do a lot of night missions, so that's why I'm a Kikimora.
So it's a very useful item.
So some IFAKs will have this little handy dandy item. So the A in the March protocols is airway and breathing. And if you assess that you need to resuscitate breathing with CPR, you can use this item, or you can risk it like me and go straight mouth to mouth. So the proper way is to apply this to the casualty, round side and oval side up, and begin breathing away. Give it your all.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. So let's talk a bit about CPR. First of all, it stands for cardio, heart, yeah, pulmonary, lungs, resuscitation.
Exactly.
Speaking of CPR, there's a certain rhythm you have to go with, yeah, when you are performing that. I've heard there are some special CPR songs, like to know what rhythm to go with. Yeah, have you heard of those?
Yes.
Yeah,
Have
like
you heard
what-
of them?
Yeah, I have, but I want you to sing, not
Oh God.
like what? The reason I know that is in one of my favorite TV series, The Office, they were doing this training in the office and had like a really crazy time, and they were just goofing around instead of paying attention during the training, and they started singing "Staying Alive."
Right, that is the song. It's the exact perfect rhythm for the count suppressing 30.
Right. Yeah, we'll show that. Staying alive, staying alive, ha 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 ha, staying alive, staying alive. Okay.
Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive.
You can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Words it loud, women warm.
Which is a cool song, not because it has this necessary rhythm, but because of the lyrics, right? Staying alive.
Oh yeah, it's what I have playing in my head all the time
Makes
when I'm
so-
doing medical evacuations is staying alive.
I bet. What are we gonna do now? Show how to do CPR?
Bob can't breathe, so we're gonna do some CPR. Do you know what it stands for?
Yes, it's cardio, pulmonary resuscitation. Cardio,
Nice.
heart, pulmonary, lungs, resuscitation is bringing someone back to life, right?
Bringing air back into the lungs. It's slow clap, everybody. Woo! All right, so you definitely don't want to do CPR in a red zone, especially if you don't have proper cover and concealment from the enemy. But if you're in a yellow or green zone where you're concealed and covered and protected and you have the go-ahead, you can reach into your IFAK and get this handy dandy first aid mouth to mouth.
Why would it be necessary? In what situation would it be needed?
One of the main reasons that it could be needed is if the inside of the mouth was slightly bleeding and you don't want blood transfer or saliva transfer. In some IFAKs, you get this device, and so you have a circular side, then you have an oval side. The circular side goes in like this. And you would hold like this when you're doing your 2 breaths. You will do 30 compressions on the sternum, pause, take 2 breaths, apply 30 compressions again, and keep rotating back and forth.
Where's the sternum? What's the sternum?
The center of the rib cage. And so you will put your hands on top like this, to apply more pressure. So it's like the very top point of your rib cage, and you can feel on yourself, the top point right here. Where it connects here is where you will apply this part. So you see the division here? Right here?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Bob, stay with me. You're just gonna apply here and here. Full weight, both knees facing the patient like this. So go ahead, both knees like this.
How is the head supposed to be positioned? Like, do I have to tilt it back a little bit?
No, that's only when you're doing the breaths. You will tilt the chin up to open up the airway
Okay.
more. When you're doing your breaths.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
you need
While
to-
I'm singing, I can't count. I lost count.
But
What
you
did I
keep,
do?
you keep the rhythm of the staying alive.
Oh wait, it goes on every beat. Like,
Yes.
like this.
Deep compression. So you're putting
okay.
your weight and you're pressing
Okay.
extremely hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is that you don't want any bouncing. You're coming off. So you'll put it here.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and 0 lights
Ah.
when she did it.
Yeah. Let's go, Mary. Say Bob's live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
30. 2 breaths.
We don't need this.
2 breaths. That's it. Back to compressions. Let's go.
Bob, come on. I'm tired. No.
As you can see, the lights are coming on for the training. That means that she's doing it correctly. Add some strength in there. Put your back into it. 2 breaths. This isn't a romantic movie. What are you holding him like that for?
I don't know.
Hand here and tilt chin back and blow. You're just Mary.
I'm sorry. I'm really trying. Okay, I should be paying more attention. This is not funny. It's important.
All sex shops now will be sold out of dolls.
Don't look. Okay.
What?
How am I supposed?
Just 2 breaths and back to compression. So chin up, hand like this. 2 breaths, back to compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's alive! It's green! Bob is alive! Woo! Okay, now you're just murdering him.
Okay.
He's awake. Oh,
You know when
Mary!
you have to know when to stop, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You like little guys, huh? But it did. Once it turned green, he's been
alive. All right.
resuscitated.
All right. You'll thank me later, Bob.
The way to know when to stop doing the rotation of the compressions and the mouth breaths, 30, 2 breaths, 30, is when you see the eyes flicker and you make sure before you do any CPR that you check the mouth and you do a finger sweep inside the mouth to make sure nothing is lodged inside. Maybe they choked on something, maybe they coughed, maybe a piece of a tooth went down. Make sure you do a mouth sweep first before you do your compressions. If the mouth is clear, go ahead, begin your compressions. Okay.
All right.
Mary
good.
saved a life today. Good job.
I have a question. I've heard this legend that if a person has a tattoo that says "do not resuscitate," that it can be considered like their last will and the doctors are not supposed to resuscitate them, right?
Yes. So if you are a medic or the person most medically qualified in your team, one of the things that you need to know is tattoos of your team members for body parts identification and body identification, and look for the DNR for the do not resuscitate, which means if they're out for the count, they want to be left alone, and we have to respect their wishes. The second thing is that you need a list of their allergies on the front. You need to know what medications they can or cannot have. And if they're allergic to, latex gloves.
But this do not resuscitate tattoo, does it only work on the front line? Or like, let's say you're a civilian somewhere, like something happens to you in the city and the doctors, the ambulance come, do they also consider that as your wish?
Western countries, yes, we
Really?
acknowledge that. I don't know if it happens here, but my
Yeah.
team was Western.
I used to think of it as some kind of legend and not really true.
No, some of the frontline soldiers have a DNR. They also have, if they've got a pneumothorax, they actually have an X mark, so you know where to put the decompression needle because they know they're probably going to get shot.
Tattooed, yeah?
They have it tattooed X, so
That's
they
handy.
know, yeah,
Okay.
you know where to apply the decompression needle. I've seen it twice so far on the front lines here.
Yeah. But also, you said that they sometimes use the acronym, not the whole "do not resuscitate," but just DNR.
DNR.
And I've also heard another story, which I don't know is true or not, but DNR also stands for Donetskaya Народная Республика, which is this Donetsk People Republic, one of those banana republics. And apparently there was a story where a person had that tattooed on their body because they were, supporting this bullshit thing, and they were not saved because somebody thought that it means do not resuscitate, but it was DNR.
Bum, bum, bum. -1 for the DNR
Okay.
sector. IFAKs have them, but if you have the space, I call it a stabilizer, or also known as a splint. All right, so Mary not only has bleeding on her kneecap, but her knee is broken. If you have time to stabilize it, you can use your stabilizer, or what's known as a
Шина in Ukrainian, українською це шина.
right, guys, if you don't have a stabilizer, you can use the soldier's weapon. You can drop the magazine. You can position the barrel of the weapon facing away from the groin area. And you can take tape, or you can take a bandage and wrap the legs.
Or that armed tape, yeah, would be better. Yep.
You can put the stabilizer at the bottom, tape below the wound, tape above the wound. Some of the newest IFAKs actually come with a casualty card. These are the TCCC protocols. This is only if you are in the yellow or green zone, not when you're under fire. If you have time and you have tended to all your casualties, you can fill this card out. The reason that there is a tie to it is that you hook it to the body, probably the shoe or a toe.
You mentioned green, yellow, and red zones a couple times. Can you real quick explain what the difference is?
Okay, the red zone is your frontline fire zone, full on combat and dangerous. It's where you go and retrieve your casualty immediately once you are upon your casualty. In the red zone, you assess what you can and cannot do very quickly. Sometimes you don't have time to do the full march protocols. Sometimes you look, you apply a tourniquet, you drag them out to the yellow zone. The yellow zone is the medium danger area, red zone, high danger area. Green zone is usually a field hospital, much safer, away from the frontline fighting and artillery strikes. So you have your red, high danger, yellow, medium danger, green, somewhat safe. They do strike this area sometimes, but not as often. This is where you do your higher medical care, such as your amputations if you have to, your blood transfusions, and your injections of your painkillers.
But really, what are we supposed to do if we don't have a tourniquet? Let's say I've used up all mine, I've lost them, I don't know, there's no tourniquet. You don't have one, I don't have one. Is there a way to use something else instead of a tourniquet?
That's a good question. So if you don't have a regular utility belt like me, then if you have any type of material, you can cut a sleeve off of the soldier's uniform or your own sleeve, or if since they've had the leg injury, you could have cut the leg of the trousers, okay? And so some medics will have a triangular bandage on them like this, okay? I call this an improvised tourniquet. So let's say you only had one tourniquet. I've used all my other tourniquets on other soldiers.
But my left leg is also injured. I
Yeah.
need one more.
So I'm going to show you a quick tip for improvised tourniquet. You can take triangular bandage or clothing material that's not stretchy. You take it, you make a tie. You take your tactical scissors, you use the small opening, you tie it on, you then use to spin. Feels tight, works
It's
fast.
tight. It's
And then
tight.
you tuck it. I don't want to stab you. And you tuck it. Improvise tourniquet.
But would it be right to assume that this works still not as well as a tourniquet, like as a normal tourniquet? I just want our viewers to take it very seriously. I mean, in terms of have the necessity to have a tourniquet on them. And I don't want them to think, it's okay, like I don't have a tourniquet, I can use something like this, right? So this still works.
This is your first choice. This
Yeah.
choice actually really works really well. I just didn't tighten it super tight because I don't want to,
Okay. So
hurt you.
it does work really well,
It
but
works.
still make sure you have your own tourniquets.
First option.
Yeah.
Second option is your improvised
Yeah.
or your belt. Next up, we have our gloves. It's very important that you know all of your team and units' allergies. Do not touch soldiers or anyone you're providing medical care with latex gloves if they have an allergy. You will make the wounds much worse.
Can it get like really bad? Yeah, people can
Oh,
have
yeah.
very bad allergies. Yeah.
Very bad allergies,
Okay.
very bad reactions. So these are nicely packaged. This is the nicest package that I've ever seen. I usually just put them in my pocket or stuff them in any type of pocket that I have open, or just tight roll them in a small ball. But look how fancy they look.
Okay, and they're sterile, right?
Sterile, right?
Okay.
Sterilized gloves. And how would you say this in Ukrainian?
Рукавички? Рукавички латексні, припудрені, powdered. Why is it
Powdered.
important to powder them so that it's not like slippery?
The importance of the powder that's already applied on them is to be able for the doctor or the medical professional who's doing the tactical care to immediately slide them on the hands. The reason is that we're out on the front lines, we're running casualty to casualty, and our hands are sweaty or already covered in blood, and it's easier to slip on
Okay.
if they're powdered already. If they're not powdered, a quick trick is to blow into the gloves, add some air, quickly pop your hand in.
Yeah, speaking of powder, I've seen an item here that also might be useful, which is powder, kind of like baby powder, як дитяча присипка, but it says powder for feet, socks, and shoes.
Right.
Why would that be important sometimes? Why would that be necessary?
The reason it's important to keep your feet dry out on the front lines is because your feet have to take you where you need to go. Your feet are constantly sweating or you're walking through mud or water. If you get any type of bacteria or foot fungus, it's very difficult to walk and to carry on with your missions. This is one of the first things that takes a soldier out is foot infections and fungus, because the bottom of your heels and your feet becomes so tender, your skin starts rotting off. So it's very important to keep your feet dry and disinfected.
Yeah. Okay, so that's also called powder.
We carry small bottles on us to keep ourselves dry. We powder ourselves in our front and our back area, in our groin and crotch area to keep ourselves dry, because you can get burns, rubbing burns, skin burns from running and heat. So the next item up that we're going to discuss is the eye protector. So a lot of the issues that I see on the front is that when there has been an eye injury, soldiers are taking hard gauze, pressing it to the eye, and then bandaging it. This is making the eye injury much worse. Instead, it is advisable to carry one of these. It's specified to help protect the eye injury, and then you can apply some tape
This type? Not
to
the duct
bandage
tape?
the eye.
Yeah.
If you have to use duct tape,
This is better. Yeah.
a little softer on the skin, unless you want to do some eyebrow waxing.
All right.
Depends on how much you like the soldier that you're helping, you know. If you're cool with him, this one. If he's made fun of you for being a hobbit, this tape.
But first, you still need to put some kind of gauze or anything else, right? Or
Yes, you can put a thin layer of gauze, a very thin layer of gauze, if you want. So instead of applying the thick gauze over the eye and pressing the eye, making it worse, you can use a thin gauze lightly and then apply it and then tape around it. You don't need to go full Rambo and add a bunch of gauze and tape it round and round and round. This is making it worse.
so we don't want any pressure on the wound. Yeah, it
Don't
has
apply
to-
more pressure.
Right. Okay.
You're going to cause more damage. Next up, we have our ammonia packets. So always after your TCCC, your March protocols, if you are in the yellow zone, not the red zone, and your casualty is unconscious, you do have an option, if you are qualified to use it, ammonia. This is smelling sauce to bring a casualty conscious.
Це у нас серветка з аміаком. Yeah.
Don't use this in the red zone, guys. Next up, if you don't have any antiseptic and you need to clean an area or even your hands, you can use a small antiseptic wipe. I personally don't use these. I use hydrogen peroxide wipes or sprays.
Okay. But what would be the difference in using hydrogen peroxide and just this sanitizer with alcohol?
This is a
What's
very
better?
tiny one, but when you're using hydrogen peroxide, it does boil and bubble up, and it lets you know that it is killing the bacteria and sterilizing your hands and your wounds. Like I can physically see it and
it's
visually
more
see it.
visible. That's right. Yeah. Speaking of hygiene, also another item that I've noticed here is this little bottle. Can you tell about it more?
Aqua Combat. So this is a type of water. If you have access to water but you're unsure that it's clean, you can put a few drops into this.
Does it really work well? I mean, what kind of like can you use any kind of water from any puddle, any source whatsoever, and use that and be safe to drink it, or?
Allegedly.
Okay, but
Allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, that's the word to take responsibility of.
What's it
yourself.
called? Sabi?
It's like substance to disinfect the water, for water disinfection. Okay, well,
You want to go try it out? Go find a puddle and go see.
and drink it and then see what happens with us. Okay,
Allegedly.
not really.
Do you want to try it
Allegedly.
again? Like, does it really work? Okay.
I think it. Yeah. Do you think it really works? Have you used it before and drunk the water after using it?
Not the Ukrainian version, but allegedly it works.
Okay, but
Do you want to find out?
I wouldn't risk it. We want to release this video, right? So.
All right. If you have space at all, a great option to carry on you is a warmer. They can be foot warmers, hand warmers, pocket warmers. These are easy to throw into a sleeping bag, warm it up, put in your pocket, keep your hands warm. The reason that you want to keep your hands warm, especially during fall and winter, is that when your hands are freezing, your hands lock up and it's hard to pull the trigger after a while. So if you keep your hands warm, you're more mobile for the trigger
or do
finger.
anything if you're freezing, right? I mean, it's harder to do anything, right? And in Ukrainian, we have this nice, cute word, zihrivaika.
That's cute.
So we learned a lot today, and you've taught us so much. So just to wrap it up, just as a final message, could you tell your top 3 tips to people here in Ukraine, to soldiers in Ukraine? What are the 3 tips from Kiki to soldiers in Ukraine?
All right, so Kikimora's top 3 tips are: number 1, make sure before going out on any mission that you have all the necessary items in your IFAK, and if you have a chance to double check your team's IFAKs, make sure that they've got enough items in there. Don't let your soldiers go out. I see a lot of soldiers just like, oh, it'll be fine. They go out on the front line. They don't have enough tourniquets on them. 2, definitely know your team's identification, as in their call signs, their blood type, their identifications of tattoos, and any allergies. It's really, really helpful. And 3, for all foreigners inside Ukraine, if English is your native tongue or secondary language, I really encourage you to watch Mary's videos and pick up some great Ukrainian terms, because it's a great way to establish rapport, and we are here for one team, one fight.
Дякую за перегляд. Побачимось.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Bye.